Okay, so this is a demo. Sorry, my speaker's messed up. This is a demo on how to do the stuff you missed from the first day of the Intro to Engineering and Architecture new project. So let's see. I do not want this here. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So we're starting a new project. I'm going to make this kind of an abbreviated demo. It should be enough to kind of keep you rolling here and keep you up with the class. So again, we started a new project. So you're going to go ahead and open. And sorry, I got things going from monitor to monitor here. The Revit file you're going to open is on the X drive, and you should be able to access this from your Chromebook. Labs, Brown, read only, and it is under Intro and Architecture. So the file you're going to be opening is a Spanish Dos Lagos folder or file. And open it up. Now you're going to get it, and it's going to be a read-only file, and just go ahead and hit OK on that. It's going to ask you if you want to continue, and just say yes. Mine won't do it because I'm getting this off of my X drive. Okay. And I'm going to keep my browser like this and my property so it's easier to see. It's going to open up in level 2. You're going to see some layout here of the building. I'm not going to like doing this. I'm going to open this in 3D, but it's going to probably pause a little bit because it's in realistic right now. So it's just going to hug and chug. So this model was made by one of my students a while back. It was part of one of my interior design class projects. So we're going to be using this. The idea here is I'm going to be giving you this shell of a model. And during the Intro to Engineering and Architecture class here, for most of the third quarter, we're going to be populating the inside of it. We're going to do everything. We're going to design the kitchen, the bathrooms. We're going to do all the furnishings. We're going to do the flooring, ceilings, lighting, paint on the walls, molding, so on. You're going to see once this thing opens. This will do this with you as well. I've got this unrealistic right now. That's why it's being all huggy chuggy here. So this is the building. It's Spanish Dos Lagos is the name of it. It was one of the designs from Dos Lagos. A friend of mine was one of the designers of Dos Lagos. This is one of the buildings he designed. This was actually modeled again by one of my students, so there was definitely mistakes on it, and we'll fix those as we kind of go through as needed. But this is it. So it's already modeled, sort of. Doors, windows, walls, roofs, subfloor, like the concrete floor on the bottom, even some footings on the bottom down there. But let me show you what it really has in it. You know, if I keep working in realistic, this thing's going to be sloggy and slow. So once I get this section box up, I'm going to turn the realistic into like consistent colors or something like that, so it goes faster. Just pretend like it's all pretty. See how slow it's being right now. And I suggest you do the same. There's no reason for you to work in realistic unless you need to, because it's really slow. This is a pretty big model. Once I show you what's going on with it, you'll understand. Again, a lot of stuff's already been modeled in here. So what happened is my student modeled this a little while back, and let me just put this in shaded or something. It's not going to look very good, but it'll be fine. And it had everything in it. And now it doesn't. What it has in it now is not much at all. It's got walls, it's got doors, it's got windows, but really nothing on the inside. This down here is just concrete. Concrete. And so that's, you know, the foundation of the house. All right. Now, if I move it up a little bit, let me show this. This is a 2-story house. And that's what this whole thing will be a 2-story house. Move this up a little bit. And I'm going to put this back in realistic. Sorry, just for a second. It's going to slog a little bit, but I have to show you. So what you've got on this part right here, once I put this back in realistic, and it's going to slog a little bit. And for what I'm going to be doing today, you don't need to have this in realistic also. I would just put it in shaded mode and let it run. If you want to verify that what you put in and looks good, then you can always put it in realistic, but it's going to go slow. This happens in the room as well. It's a really big model. So as you can see from the inside, there's really nothing in it. There's no furniture. There's no paint on the walls. There's no finished flooring. What you see here is this is just plywood, just nasty old plywood. And then on top of that, we'll be putting flooring, finished flooring. I wanted to show you what that looks like. And basically it's all the same. It's all just plywood. And then underneath that are floor joists that hold it up. Okay, so that said, let me put this back in shaded so it's not so slow. All right, so that's what you have. You don't have to worry about that part of it. I'm just showing you what we have. Turn that section box back off again. And there's our building. So I've got a level 1 and a level 2. So what I asked the class is, how many rooms do you see? And so I'm just going to pause there. And how many rooms do I see? And looking around there. So there. And there. And there. What you notice is I'm passing over these things. It says text note. So the actual amount of rooms in this thing, if I was to make a window around this and go to the filter, how many rooms are there? And there are absolutely no rooms in here. No rooms. So these are just text notes. So here's what you're going to do for me. You're going to create rooms from those text notes. And it might go something like this. It's going to go, sorry, I'm in kind of a condensed version here. Room, and do a room tag with area. And then as you put it in, you'll get something that looks like that. And there's a room. And there's a room. There's a room. Tags are bigger than the room. There's one. Now, once I do this one, watch what happens to the living room when I do this. See how that populated there? So that's something we'll have to deal with. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and keep continuing. And you'll see I'm going here. Again, some of these are not very big and some are kind of small. I'm going to go in. This is the stairs. I didn't label that one, but that's one you need to do. And then up here, kind of the same problem. We've seen this before. You see 3 things here, but it's going in this one big space. So we have something like that. This is a pantry right here. I don't want this to be a room. This will be part of the kitchen. I'm going to explain that as we go through. All right, so let's start off with this area over here. So as you see this room right here, it's all one big piece. And I'm going to want to subdivide it into 2 different pieces. Okay, a family room and a living room. These, just do this. Just just whatever the name of the room is, put it there. So 2. A garage. And once you do that, you can delete the text note like that. And then just continue that process here. So that is going to be the swing garage. And then delete the text note. So just as you work your way through, make it, delete it. Bath 4. And delete it. PWDR. You can put it exactly the way those text notes are, and that should be fine. That's hall 1. So I'll try to go fast here. You probably get the idea of what's going on now. Delete, entry, and delete. Stairs, oops. Tag there. Only do the stairs once. We're going to go upstairs here as well, so to speak. And I'm going to show you how to do the stairs. They're going to be a little bit different. Wood. Okay, so on this family room, living room, I've got this really big space here. It's actually 832 square feet, which is way bigger than a family room should be. So to subdivide this thing, you're going to use a room separator. Room separator. And we've used these before, so we're just going to go ahead and plunk that right about there. Watch what happens to the area. You'll notice now the area is 487. Call that the family room. I really don't need the word room in there, by the way, just family is fine. Okay, now when I put the room in, you'll notice that the living room is empty. So I'm just going to go and put that in there now because I subdivided it by using the room separator and living. Like so, and delete the tag. Now up here, kind of a similar thing. What we're going to be doing with this area right here is we're going to be creating a kitchen with an informal dining space. We'll have a big island in there, and then there's going to be a little kind of nook area that you're going to decide what you want to do with. I'm not sure what to do with it, to be honest. But the way we're going to subdivide this out is we're going to have a room separator right here. And that'll be the nook. My student didn't model this perfectly. And then the kitchen's going to be somewhere over here somewhere. And then the dining kitchen's going to be all kind of melded together. And you're going to have to decide how you want to work that. But for now, we'll do it something like this. And again, this is probably not going to be perfect, but we'll do it like that. So it looks like this is the dining room side here. So let's take that tag and put that there. Call that the dining room. And like that. And then over here, we will put the kitchen. Let's put the room in. And over here, we'll put the nook. So that's our kitchen. And this is the nook. So the rooms are kind of laid out for you, so I'm not giving you that much latitude, but I am because there's nothing in here. There's a couple of walls and stuff in here, but not a ton. That is a fireplace. So I'm not sure. You're going to decide what you want to do with it. That's where it is. And where the dining room goes, kitchen goes, that's going to be completely up to you. Okay. Looks like that downstairs is pretty good. There will be a couple of spaces in here that we'll have to talk about. If I go to room, do you see that little pocket right there? Don't put a room in there. And oops, sorry. And this coats area, don't put a room there. We'll talk about what we're going to do with that later on. Other than that, that looks pretty good. Okay, it's all blue there. And then you're going to go to the second floor and kind of do the same thing. Now, again, I'm going to do this because I've got to explain some things as I do it. Room. So like when you get to the bedroom here, you'll notice that the room's not going into the closet. Okay, see that? I don't want an extra room for the closet. The closet's going to be part of the bedroom. And right now that bedroom, that bed 3 is 171 square feet. So the reason the room is not going into that closet area is because every wall is set up with a room bounding box. This little room bounding box here, and that's what kind of binds and forms the room. So the room knows to stop at that wall, including if you have doors on it. But in this case, we wanted the room to kind of bleed into and go into this space right here, but it's not doing that. And the reason it's not doing that is because let me turn off the thin lines here, is because this wall, and probably this one as well, but this wall mainly is blocking it. So if we uncheck room bounding, watch what happens to the area of 171. Oh, it becomes 188 because now the room is going inside that space. So now the room, because this is not blocking the room, it goes inside that area. That's what I would want you to do. Now, that part's easy, and let's just continue on. So let's see. Let me give you another example. I'm not gonna do every room up here, but room. Another issue will be on bed 2 and bed 4. So I've got both of those in. There's closets for those 2 here. So obviously for bed 4, this is the closet for it. My student made that door a little small, but that's the closet for it. And then for this bed 2, this is the closet for it. So they've got kind of staggered closets. All right, so here's where it gets a little funky. So this wall right here, if I uncheck it, what's going to happen here? Let me just put a couple more rooms in here. Room, I'm gonna put one here, hall 2, and put one here, hall there. Let's go and put one here while I'm there. Sorry, I needed to do that in order to do my demo here. So hall 3. And this one's hall 2. Don't worry about the linen there. And this one's hall 4. Okay, so I've got this wall right here, and I would like this room to bleed into and get into this area right here because that's part of the room. Well, but I've got this whole wall that's all one wall. So if I turn off the room bounding element on here, what's going to happen is hall 3 and hall 2 are going to meld into each other because this will no longer be separating them. Watch what happens when I do it. Revit gets pissed. It says multiple rooms are enclosed in the same region. So these 2 guys are in the same spot and it doesn't like it. So I'm just going to cancel that. So here's the way you have to do it. We have to basically split this wall up into 3 parts for this strategy because of the nature of what's going on in this area. So we're going to go to modify and you're going to split element. I'm going to split it right about here and right about there. You can trim that out later. But so now what I've got is I've got a 1, I've got a 2, and I've got a 3. So this wall is still going to be in between hall 2 and 3. This one's the one that I want to not make room bounding. Now, right now, my bedroom 2 is at 200 square feet. If I uncheck that, now it's at 231 because now the room bleeds in. If that makes sense, right? Because it's this wall is no longer blocking the room from that closet. This one's gonna be a little easier on the bed 4, but it's the same problem. If I was to take this wall and unroom bound it, then I'm going to have bed 4 and bed 2 in the same space. And they're both going to be in this area and it's going to be pissed. So what I have to do is I have to split that. Now, a thing's going to happen here. Watch this. Watch my blade. Nothing happening. Nothing happening. Nothing happening. Here's why. See, when I pick this, see this pin right here? What the pin does is it keeps things from being edited. It's sort of a protection mechanism, and it's not letting me move it. If I try to hit the delete key, it's saying, nope, can't do it. Nope, because the objects were pinned. So if you want to delete it, you got to unpin it before you delete it. So what we need to do on this one is we need to pick the wall and unpin it, because to split it, it has to be unpinned. Now, now I can delete it and I can move it, but I don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and go to my split tool and split it. I don't know, around here somewhere. Good enough. Now, if I pick this wall, watch the area at 163. I'm going to uncheck room bounding. And now you'll see it's at 197 because it's bleeding inside. Now, once you do that, do yourself a favor and please pin it back. Otherwise, that thing can get moved or deleted. It's kind of, again, kind of protecting you and me because I don't have to go back and fix it if you delete it by mistake. Now, because we did this isn't pinned at all. This could be deleted in theory. Delete. It's going to blow up, but I don't want to do that. So what I want you to do is I'd like you to pin that. The pin is right there. And so that's just, again, protecting the mechanism. So now I can't move it and it's safe again. So no harm, no foul. And now our rooms are good. Okay, now the next one I need to show you, let's go ahead and do a room here, is the master bathroom. And it's got some quirkiness as well. This one's the master bath. Master bath. Okay, take that and delete it. So what's going to happen in this master bathroom is it actually is going to go into here and into here as well. So I asked the class, well, what goes inside here? And what goes inside here is two different spaces. So somebody said, like the toilet room and stuff. And it's like, yeah, one of these is the toilet room. And okay, so is this the toilet room right here? Well, if I pass my mouse over this and it says frameless glass door, is that the toilet room? It's like, no, unless you're really weird. If I pass my mouse over this one, that's a single flush door. So that's where we want the toilet room. This is going to be a shower. That's why the frameless glass door. But both of them are in the master bathroom. So what we're going to need to do is drift this master bathroom into this space right here. So we have the same game. That is pinned, so I'm going to have to unpin it. And then we're going to go ahead and split that right about there. I have to do it there because I don't want this drifting into bathroom 3. So we're going to pick that wall and we're going to uncheck room bounding. And from 244 to 304, and you can see it kind of drifts in like so. Okay. I think the rest of this is pretty straightforward. The sitting room is you're gonna kind of treat it just like we did downstairs. Put a room separator right here, like so, and that'll be that'll be the master bedroom. Let me do this really fast here. Let's see, architecture, room. Okay, sorry, let's show my computer there. And there, and walk-in closet. So these are all rooms. You can just do WIC here. And, again, as you do these, just go ahead and delete them. Again, I don't need the word room. I know it's there, but, you can't go wrong by doing whatever's there. But sitting. Okay, but basically all of the hallways are going to be a room, including the bathroom there. So I got a few more to do here. So room, doing pretty good here. I've got that one, got the teen room, I've got the hallway. Don't do the stairs. I've got this bathroom 2. Now this is going to be a toilet room right here, so don't do that as a separate room. We're going to create this like this bath 2 here. We're going to create that kind of the same way as we did the other one there. We're going to just take that. You don't need to unpin it or anything because it's not going into other rooms. We can just go ahead and uncheck room bounding on that one and that should be fine. So now it's to 81 now and it's going in there. Okay, let's see. That's good. Laundry room. You know what? I've been going a long time without saving. So here's why I want you to save this. I'd like you to save it as a project. You're going to save it to your My Documents. Okay, and you know how to do that. I would actually do it this way. Make sure you're doing it correctly. Go to your OneDrive and then your documents, and then, go to your Revit folder. Mine looks a little different, so I'm just going to go ahead and just, let's see, sorry. Again, this looks different than yours. So just, you're saving this to your My Documents. Okay, just pretend like you're saving it to your My Documents. Let's see, I want to do this under intro. And so I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this going to call this COVID. Okay. Some of you are listening to this is because you have COVID. All right. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm going to put your first name, last name in front of this. Don't just call it Spanish Dos Lagos. So cap locks, whatever. Okay. And then save it into your My Documents. You should be able to do that from the Chromebook. No problem at all. I really like the idea of backing these files up every once in a while on a USB drive. I would highly suggest that, especially if you're coming to school with it. If you've done all this work and stuff, I would put it on a USB drive also and just have a backup just in case. You've been warned. Sometimes the OneDrive doesn't behave the way we want it to, but the USB drive will always be good. But I wouldn't just trust everything on USB drive either because they get broken and stuff. So this is going to save here slowly. Sorry, my xDrive has been really, really slow lately. Normally Revit doesn't go this slow. And this is a big model, by the way. So what I did by this, while this is saving, is my student, her name is Abby. You'll see some of her initials in here as well. She modeled this entire building and she did everything. She did the kitchen, the bathrooms, the furniture, everything that I told you we're going to be doing. And then I basically gutted it. I deleted everything. I left the doors, walls, windows, floors, ceilings, and that's about it. Everything else is gone, and it's going to be your job to add it to your design, based on the way I try to do it. Okay, so yeah, 3. So this is one big empty model right now, and your job is going to be to populate it. I'm going to teach you how. So this is basically interior designer training. I've done this for a few companies, and I've trained interior designers how to do their job and, work in Revit basically and use the tool. They know way more than I do about their profession. I'm just showing them how to use the software. For you guys, I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. This team room is going to be kind of fun. See that later on. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. We're doing pretty good. Almost done here. Hall 5. So you're basically populating all of the rooms and getting rid of those text notes. I don't want to see any of the room text notes there. There'll be a couple of text notes hanging around. Let's see, where were they? Like the linen, for example, that's not a room, so you can leave those there. But like any of these, I want those gone. Okay, I'm looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good there. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so our next play, let me just save this again. Again, I would save this like every 15 minutes. If I were you, I wouldn't take any chances. So one of the issues we have, I've shown you how to deal with the downstairs rooms. On the upstairs rooms, once it saves. Maybe I'm saving too fast. Most of this is a connectivity thing. This doesn't have anything to do with Revit. It's just I'm at home trying to save this, and it's going to the xDrive at the district office. It's just taking a long time. Okay. Okay. Now, we do have, so those are all pretty much there. Now, there is this space right here, which is stairs, right? And this space down here, which is stairs. It's the same area. It's the same chamber. It's not two different stairs. It's the same one. So this room at 83 is 83 upstairs and 83 downstairs. It's the stairs. It's the same thing. This particular room goes 2 stories tall. because it's the stairs. So if I was to cut a section through this, is the way you're going to do this. Cut a section, yeah, right around here somewhere, like that. Make a little skinny right there, and let's go to the view. So this is what you have, right? So you can see the stair room right there. There it is right there. Grab this little grip and just drag it up to here. So now that stair column is going to go 2 floors high. So that's the one room going 2 floors. Now, if I go back into level 2, you can see it there, right? The room is there, but there's no tag. It's the same room. And I would like you to tag the room like that. Notice it's 83. It's the same tag. It's the same room. It's just being tagged upstairs and downstairs. One room being used twice. Okay, don't make 2 separate rooms. Okay, all right. Looking pretty good. Okay, now one thing you're going to notice is these tags. It gives the name of the room, it gives the number of the room, and it gives the area of the room. And they're awfully big. This is a typical tag you'd see like in a hospital or a hotel or a school or whatever. And we don't usually use this tag in residential as much. Here's the reason why. It gives the name of the room and it gives the number. I mean, if you think about your house, do you have your rooms in your house identified as numbers? No, not so much, right? But you do have names, right? You have bathrooms and bedrooms and living rooms and all that stuff. So the names are important. It's funny because at school, it's almost the opposite. If you think about my room, the name of my room, not the number, my room is D107. You guys know that, but the name of the room, you probably don't even know. It's actually got a placard on the outside. I think it's industrial drafting or something like that. And nobody cares because nobody cares. It's just the name of the room. And you know, when you look for my room, you look for the room, D107, right? You don't look for the name of the room. And so the numbers are important in a school. If you go to like a hotel, you don't want to know the name of the room that you're going to. You want to know the number of the room, right? I'm going to room 235, right? And you look for 235, and that's where you put the key card in, right? You don't, it doesn't say, you know, room, you know, single guest or whatever, you know, it doesn't, you don't care about that. So that said, this box and this number, we don't really want. I do want the area and I want the name of the room. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make our own room tag that does not have this box and this number. And this is the way you're going to do it. We're going to pick on the tag, not the room, pick on the tag. And we're going to edit the family. So we're in the family editor now. Now you're going to notice that you don't see the box around the outside of the 101, the name of the room. And you're also going to see we have a couple of things on top of each other here. All right, first thing is we're going to go to VV, Victor, VV. Sorry, it's going on the wrong screen here. And we're going to go to annotation categories. And we're going to check this little box right here. Okay, and when we do, it's a little smaller here. Sorry, I was just taking up my little laptop screen here. When these go back and forth, I've got a large monitor on the other side. It gets gigantic. Okay, now you'll see the box, right? And you also see some reference planes here. This is kind of the bullseye, the middle of the tag. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that box. I don't want that box. I don't want the box. I don't want the box. No, I don't want the number either. I also don't want volume. I'm hitting the delete key here. And then I'm just going to move this up, and make it about the same distance from the horizontal reference plane as room name is. It's not too close, not like that, just about like that. Okay. And then save it. File. Save as. Now this is going to be a family. It's not a project. It's a family. And let's see, I'm going to save this. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Sorry, that's not the one. Okay, and let's see, let's save this. Actually, in the COVID folder, that's exactly where I want it. Don't call it room tag though, call it your initials. I'm going to call this my MB room tag because we don't want this to be the same as the room tag that is in the box. This will be different. This is yours. And save. Okay, once you've done that, once it's saved, you can go ahead and load it and close it. What load and close means, it's going to load it into your project, and it's also going to close this at the same time. Okay, now you're not going to see anything happening. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape a couple times. So if I took this tag now and I come up here to my properties, you'll see it now. I have the ones in the box, but I also have mine. So if I change this to room tag with area, you'll see that I have just the name and the area. I don't have that big box in there. Now, what I suggest you do, instead of doing that like 400 times on each, all this, just pick on one of these tags and right click, select all instances in the project, and that'll select all of them. See how they all turn blue there? And you can just swap them out all at once. Do your members, whatever your initials are, do that one, and that'll change them all. See how much better those are versus the one in the bot, with the one that comes with Revit. See how much bigger that is. Yeah, it's just a lot harder to deal with. So we'll do our tag like that. Okay, so I had the class do that. So both first floor and second floor should be done. And since I did it in the project, it got them all. That's good. Throw a save on that. Okay, we get to wait 45 minutes for this thing to save. So the last thing we did today is we started the process of making the finish floors. We're going to be doing different finish floors. The finish floors are the floor that sits on top of the concrete, sits on top of the subfloor. I explained those floors earlier, right? We had on the bottom, we had a concrete floor, right? And there's finished floors on top of that, things like carpet and tile and hardwood and stuff like that. And then upstairs, kind of the same thing. You have different floors. You walk on plywood, you walk on carpet, or ceramic tile, or engineered plywood or something like that. I'm going to be showing you some materials that maybe you haven't seen before at the same time. Okay, so give it a second here. Give them the 45-minute saves. So we're going to do we're going to do 3 floors. We're going to be doing an engineered plywood floor, a bamboo flooring floor, and a linoleum, which you might not know of, floor. I'm going to go to level 1 here. So in the family room, we're going to put in an engineered plywood floor. Engineered plywood is basically a pretty looking plywood floor. And I'll be giving you samples in class. For right now, we're just going to create the floor, but we're not going to make it pretty yet. We're just going to use a random material. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, we'll be doing more work on that. All right, so here we go. So right now, here, there's concrete underneath this, and it's all there is, right? So we're going to go ahead and create a new floor. So I'm going to go to floor and floor. Now, Abby has a bunch of stuff in here. You'll see the AJs here, see all this stuff. That's all the girl who made this model. She did some of the stuff, and then I took it all out. None of this is going to do you any good because the pictures that she used, she took with her. And so they're going to be a big, wah for you. So don't bother using hers. It's not going to do you any good. I'm going to start with the generic 12, which you don't want to use, and edit type and duplicate. So this is where you're going to give it a name. I'm going to call this my MB, use your initials. Go back to my cap blocks. And then give me the thickness of the floor. In this case, we're going to do a 1/2 inch. And then what it is. I'm going to call this my engineered ply 1. We'll be more specific on this when we get the exact materials we're going to use, but right now we're not sure what we're going to use yet. Okay, so now I'm changing my engineered plywood 1 floor, edit. You guys recognize this. We've done this before. We've done this when we made smart walls and smart floors and smart roofs and stuff like that. This one's going to be an easy one. The thickness of the floor is 0 space, 1/2 inch. And then the material is going to be engineered plywood. I really don't care what you use right here. Especially when you're at home, you can't do anything about this until you get to school. But for right now, use anything you want. I really just don't care that much. If you can find a wood in there somewhere, that's fine. But in the end, it doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of materials in her model. As you can see, there's a gazillion models. If you type the word wood up here like that, you'll get some hits. There's a bunch of woods in here. You know, things like cherry or fine. There's probably oak, and use whatever you want. Okay. Again, this is not going to be perfect anyway, but it'll be good enough. Sorry, this is coming in kind of small on my screen here. Let me just make that so you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, so this is the one I'm using. Again, this is not the one you're going to use in the end, but that's going to be fine for now. Remember the thickness, 1/2 of an inch. Okay, I've made my 1/2 of an inch. Now, when you create this, it's really important that you set the offset to whatever the thickness of the material is. So if it's a 3/4 inch thick material, then you do 3/4 inch height offset. Since ours was 0 space 1/2, that's going to be the height offset. You'll see why in a minute here. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and by the way, if this doesn't, you don't see it like this and your line weights are on like that, you can just turn that off right there, thin lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to run this on the inside of my Gypboard. We're going to do on this is we're going to just kind of roll it around here. Don't go inside the mudroom. The mudroom's a different room, but I do want you to go inside the coat closet. Okay, and just don't worry if you're not perfect here, by the way. It can always be fixed later on. Just kind of run on the inside of the coat closet here because we're going to want the same material for the coat closet. And it's going to go up like this. We're going to run it next to the see the living family there. We're gonna have a different. Now this is a mistake on my Abby, on the girl who made this model. So we'll fix this later on and run this across. It has to be a closed loop, so wherever it starts and stops at the same spot. So it looks something like that. 1/2 inch, right? Play with, green check. Say no to that. Don't attach. Okay, so you see this little whatever come up. So what's happening, if I cut a section through this, I'm just going to put one like right about there, all the way through. Bring this back so you can see a little slivery there. I suggest you do the same thing here, by the way. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the concrete floor here, and then there's the floor we just made. See how it's sitting right on top? That's what we want. And then as it comes across here, that's where it stops. And this is where we're going to put our next floor right here. Okay. So it's a finished floor sitting on top of the subfloor. Okay, the concrete subfloor. All right, let's go back to level 1. Okay, so my next one's going to be a bamboo floor. We're going to put that in the living room. Okay, and again, the bamboo material we're going to do in class, so don't worry about that now. Don't worry about that today, especially. Okay, I just need to make the floor like we did here. So let's go ahead and go to floor again, and floor again. I've already got this one here. I'm just going to edit type and duplicate. So I'm just cloning the clone. And I'm going to call this my MB. This one's going to be 3/4 of an inch, 3/4. And we'll call this bamboo. I'll explain bamboo flooring and stuff. That's a very common material for flooring. Okay, and we're going to edit. And of course, it's going to be 3/4 of an inch, 0 space, 3/4. And, if you want to find a bamboo in there, you probably can find one. Let's see. I'm not really that concerned about it, though. There's a couple of bamboos there. If I stretch this up, you'll see another bamboo there, and you can even launch that up. Give it another bamboo choice. There's a bamboo right there. Let's just use that one, even though that's not the one you're probably going to use, but that's pretty close. Okay, so we've got our beautiful bamboo floors. Pretty easy, right? Just one stepper right there. It's not like those walls you made earlier. Good. Now, there's going to be an error when this happens. Do you see the 1/2 inch here and the thickness I'm making? This is 3/4. What's going to happen here is that when I make this floor, it's going to go into the concrete, because the floor is 3/4 of an inch thick, but we only lifted it up a 1/2 inch. So 1/4 of an inch of that's still going to be stuck in the concrete. And Revit isn't going to like that very much, and it's going to yell at you. So you can do it just like I'm doing it here. Just let it yell at you. It's okay, because you're going to fix it. Just zipping along here. Work around the fireplace area there. Just get close. Don't worry if you're not perfect. And zipping around. Well, you should probably make that pretty good there. And closed loop. Now, if you make a mistake, like I did there, feel free to, you can drag these and move them up. You can drag these and move them back and forth. They're pretty easy to modify if you miss a spot. See how they kind of snap in pretty good there. So if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. It just, just moving around there as you're working it there. It snaps in pretty good. Okay, so it looks something like that. Notice that I didn't go into the entry because the entry is going to be more resilient material than it doesn't look very good there, does it? It's going to be more resilient material than a hardwood, right? If you put a hardwood on your entry, it's going to be wiped out in like a month. Okay, it's going to be all scratched up and stuff. Now, watch what happens when I finish it. Revit gets pissed because the floors overlapped. Let me explain. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And let's go to that section that I showed you earlier. So remember this one was fine, right? Sat right on top, right? Right on, beautiful, just like that, lovely, beautiful. As I come over here, this is the 3/4 inch floor. See how it's going, see how it's sharing space. See how it's sharing space right there with right in that area right there with the concrete. Okay, we don't want that. You can't do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, oh, I see what I did wrong. Oh, I left that 1/2 inch. It should have been 3/4. Zero space, 3/4, and then see how it jumps on top. That's what should be happening. It should be sitting right on top of the concrete floor. Now, the transition between these two is okay. You're going to have that happen. Like, for example, you have a bedroom that has a material on it, and you have a bathroom that has a material on it. They're not the same. The bathroom has some kind of tile, and your bedroom has some kind of probably carpet or hardwood or something like that. So they're not the same, and they're not the same thickness. So what they do with this is they put up what's called a threshold over the top of this. It's basically a transition piece, so you don't trip on that little corner right there or break it off or chip it or whatever. And it just kind of smooths out that transition. By the way, this is only 1/4 inch. It's like, it's not very big, but it's big enough to be a problem. So we have pieces that go over the top of that. If you zoom out, you can see it's barely, you can barely see it. Okay. All right. We did one more floor in class. And we did it in this little bathroom here. Actually, we did it in the bathroom and the powder room at the same time. And it's linoleum. I'm going to explain the material later, but it's an interesting material that we use for flooring that has some advantages that we'll talk about in the next demo. Right now, we're just making stuff, okay? So I'm going to make one more floor. This one's only going to be 1/8 of an inch thick. It's kind of skinny. So I'm going to go architecture. We're going to go floor. Well, I should be saving. I'm going to save this right now because it's a really good idea. I know it's going to take me a second, but it's worth it. You do all that work you want to save. And again, I would be backing up on my flash drive, on my USB drive. I would not just be putting everything just in one place. Most people in class had everything in the Monday, Tuesday class, had everything done that we're doing right now. And I would say, even if you're not going to be here Wednesday, that you can start making some of the, I'll show you where the floors are. You can make some of the floors, and we'll be doing a little bit more of that on Wednesday. And that will be really helpful. That'll keep you kind of up on things. Sorry, this is being really slow and saving. Okay, perfect. Oh, it lied. Last time it stopped, it started, it went pretty fast. There we go. All right. So it's permissible if you know that the materials on these two floors are always going to be the same. They're always going to be the same. I'm telling you, they're going to be the same. If I change the material on the powder room from linoleum to ceramic tile, then I'm changing the bathroom from linoleum to ceramic tile. Okay, they live together. Okay, even though they're not the same room. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and go to floor again. And this one, we're going to edit, type, and duplicate again. And I'm duplicating the bamboo floor, and that's fine. Doesn't matter. We're going to make this a 1/8. You'll see the pattern going on here. Linoleum. Linoleum. And we're going to go ahead and make that 1/8 of an inch. And I'm pretty sure I don't have any linoleum in here whatsoever. So, and I don't really care because we're going to make the linoleum in class anyway. So for giggles here, what shall we use? How about, I don't know. How about brick? Okay, because it doesn't matter. We're going to make brick, right? Linoleum. All right. Again, don't worry about it. We're going to change the material anyway. All right, so I know that the offset's going to be 1/8 of an inch. 0 space. Whoops, fell out there. 0 space. 0 space. 1/8. Okay, and then let's go ahead and make it. Now, the way you're going to do this when you make the lines is you're going to go up here. It's going to transition from this hallway, which is not going to be linoleum. Go with the middle, and then just kind of work it. And just take that powder room like that. Now, I'm going to make the bathroom also. This is going to be a closed loop as well. This is allowable. You're allowed to do this. They just will live together. You know, they'll be changed. If one changes, the other one will. I'm going to go to the middle there. As long as you're pretty close to the middle, you're fine. That threshold will cover up the transition there. So I've basically made both of them kind of like that at the same time. Green check. It's not yelling at me because they're offset the correct amount. And I've got the flooring in there. Okay. That's pretty much where we left off. What's going to happen is if you go to the X drive, this is how, if you're not going to be here for a couple of days and you're not for especially Wednesday or maybe even Thursday, Friday, you're going to be look for the next demo. But if I go to labs, Brown, read only, intro, and Dos Lagos Spanish, and Dos Lagos home grading. This floor pattern plan is going to help you know what to do. And I've got all the floors listed on this one right here and what you need to do. Oops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Okay, so if you roll down here, these are the acronyms right here for the materials I'm using. And these are the rooms. And those are the materials that are getting it. So for example, the entry, you can do these at the same time. You can do the entry, the hall one, and the den at the same time, and they're resilient terrazzo tile. You can do bath 4 and the powder room at the same time. I think that's what we just did. And that's linoleum. And so on. These guys are vinyl tile. You'll know what VCT is by looking at that. That's a vinyl tile. And then you can do these 3 at the same time, like I just showed you, or you can do them one at a time. That's up to you. Okay. But they're all, they're going to be whatever they are here. Don't worry about the material so much. Just create the floors and just kind of plop them where they belong. And so you can roll these. I had a lot of students that did these today. They did the bedrooms 1, 2, 3, and 4 with engineered plywood. And they did. Again, the really fast students did those. So those are the people that are kind of ahead. Most of the rest of the students just got to where you were today. All right, so that is the demo for, let's call it January 9th, January 10th for Intro to Engineering and Architecture. And that's where you should be. Make sure you save your work. And I'll be posting, again, especially if you're out for a couple of weeks because you've got COVID, I've got a couple of people like that. So if that's you, then, or if you're on extended vacation or whatever, and just don't tell me about it, then your responsibility is to keep up with the work. Okay. And then use your Chromebook. By the way, if you're not plugging in a large monitor to your Chromebook, you're probably just like not very happy working off just the Chromebook. It's really small. I would tell your parents to find a way to get you a large monitor to plug into that Chromebook. It's really hard to work on a small screen. Okay, that is all I got. So there'll be more coming out Thursday, Friday. I'm not going to do anything tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday would be. All right.